I hope that that's going to be happening here, that you go home at least with an idea what Esthechoc is and what Esthechoc could do for us in our aesthetic clinics, dermatology clinics, field practitioner practice, in the aesthetic cosmetician practice, in the beautician practice. However, it is an interesting tool to take care of the health of our patients, not only the skin, but the overall health. And why should we give all these chances to the pharmacists, to Amazon, to whatever kind of platform, to Harrods, because Esthechoc is sold in Harrods now. We can do something for the overall health and the skin health for our patients from the inside with Esthechoc. So briefly going through what makes me think that this product would fit for dermatology practice or for a healthy skin. We do reflect inner health and the aging process with the first aspect of our skin, for sure. If the skin is wrinkly and elastotic, we know that these persons are rated to be far elder than they might actually be. So the signs of skin aging, and this is L'Oreal, this is how they show the aging process in a morphing video. This happened to all of us, and we certainly do approach the outer appearance of our patients in different ways. It does result from external and internal aging. You all know that, and that photo aging is the most important cause. 80% of our skin does age because the UV radiation affects it. And I just posted yesterday, every UV exposure is an injury to your skin. So it really is. So intrinsic aging is mostly genetically and hormonally driven. The skin is thinning over time and gets atrophic in all skin layers as well as in the function of our skin. So the result is a very thin and wrinkly skin without the age spots, for example, without actinic keratosis. This is a purely internally aged skin, intrinsically aged skin, whereas the extrinsic aging does happen, again, by photo aging and all the influence from the outside. Basically, the oxidative stress and the inflammatory happenings are the most important motors for that, and the non-ability to actually heal the conglomeration of the DNA by the thymidine kinase over time. So it's an accumulation. You might all know this picture of a trucker driver, left side always exposed to UV, whereas the right side was relatively protected. So the two main factors, oxidative stress and inflammation, are the ones we can target with little chocolate, apparently. Nutraceuticals. Nutraceuticals is a in-between word created from nutrition and pharmaceuticals 89, applied to isolated nutrition, dietary supplements, herbal products, diets, processed food, etc., etc. And what we do here is we kind of combine them with cosmetics, pharmaceuticals. So looking from what can we do from the inside, I went back actually to PubMed and tried to put together all the or many relevant ingredients we are actually digesting, having an impact on or on skin aging, a positive one. Okay, so vitamins for sure. Flavonoids, plant extract, carotenoids, and many plant extracts. So looking at the carotenoids, a very important group, we know that they have an impact as being antioxidants, as having an anti-cancer effect, and being a dermatologist, when we measure the minimal erythema dose in testing for example, polymorphic light dermatosis, we can see that carotenoids taken orally do have a photoprotective effect. Okay, remember carotenoids, okay? Astaxanthin is one of them, and I do talk a bit about that because and the science behind astaxanthin, because it plays a major role in Esthechoc. Astaxanthin is a carotenoid produced by microalgae, and it has a very strong antioxidant and an inhibition of the lipid peroxidation effect, and it does reduce, for example, a marker for oxidative stress. This one here, okay? So message here, astaxanthin is a very potent antioxidant, a carotenoid. The biological effects are summarized here. The skin protection, hydration. I'm always looking more or less at the skin in this talk, okay? And this molecule is bipolar. It has a lipophilic and hydrophobic tail, and it can protect membranes. So this is the reason why this company did put astaxanthin to finally do a micelle formulation to, I don't want to tell all the things already, but to protect the working agents in this product. So it has been shown in multiple studies, and I can give you all this literature to read that, a photoprotective effect, because it does counteract the UVA-induced alterations in fibroblasts, and it has a overall health aspect on healthiness and a anti-tumor activity. This is all known if you go to the special literature. For the skin, there has been one open label non-controlled study with 30 women over 8 weeks. They took astaxanthin per ounce and they applied it topically, and they saw significant improvements in skin quality. And the second important study on that is a randomized double-blind on 36 male, and they took the 6 milligram astaxanthin, and again they had a better overall skin improvement. So cocoa phytochemicals, what's up there? We all know that my grandmother ate a chocolate a day, so we know that cocoa has apparently a good effect. But what does it really have as an effect on skin? So more than 3,000 years ago, we have epidemiological studies that cocoa and its consumption does reduce the risk of having chronic diseases. And we do know that once we eat it, it is present in human plasma. This is important to understand. So the high amount of or the basically working agents in cocoa and chocolate is catechin, apicatechins and flavonols, methylxanthins, caffeine, and minerals. Because I know that you certainly will tell later on, okay, I eat more chocolate. I go out from this meeting here and I learned I have to eat chocolate. Okay, this is partly right. So looking at the science behind cocoa, photoprotective effect again. In vivo and in vitro systems have shown that. Again, a protection against UV radiation. And one double blind in 30 healthy subjects, they ate 20 grams chocolate per day, and they measured the minimal erythema dose. So, and they found that the photoprotective effect is important. Looking at anti-inflammatory, remember antioxidative effect, the two major reasons, again, for skin aging. It has certainly the apicatechin, and the company is really very clever. That's why they put this into this product, and an antioxidant capacity. It really is too much for Friday night, but just to tell you, there's a lot of science behind these working agents. And the last criteria, and I go through these criteria because that is how Esthechoc has been proven to have a bioavailability and a real effect, is blood flow and oxygen saturation. 10 women, they drank cocoa drink with high and low flavonol content, so high and low working agent content, and they measured the saturation by a Doppler flowmetry and a spectroscopical measurement, and they saw that dermal blood flow as well as oxygen saturation has been significantly improved. Okay, that's for cocoa. And we know that cocoa has more phenolic, polyphenolic phytochemicals than tea, or like green tea or red wine. Don't stop drinking red wine, but do that both. We know that if you eat 100 grams of chocolate a day, you might reach up the necessary bio-relevant dose of, for example, epicatechins. Where's my expert? Yeah. Ernest is what are you from training? Molecular biologist, so he can explain you all the scientific background here. But once you might think, okay, I will go for Valrhona, my beloved French dark chocolate, you have to eat 100 grams a day, which wouldn't be the thing I could afford, I think. So that's why we have no Esthechoc on the market. So it is not only biologically it's a functional food, but it's pleasant to eat. I don't know, did you try it already? You have to. It's free, chocolate for free tonight, my God. So the working agents here are the epicatechins. Remember, this is important in cocoa as well. The carotenoids, the astaxanthin. And of course, we have to understand why this is different now from a regular bar of chocolate, which is less expensive, not that complicated to understand, probably not that healthy, but what is special here? So they named it Astacell technology. And just one background information, again, it is important how cocoa is processed and manufactured, because it is roasted, fermented, dried, tempered, whatever. So all this alters the content. So a regular chocolate would never be produced in a controlled way to serve as a nutraceutical or as an anti-aging supplement. It's basically formed to be tasty and pleasant in terms of taste. So and then there's a whole story, and you might ask yourself, once you digest the chocolate, what happens is it goes through the GI tract. In the stomach, there's the acid, and it will be basically fragmented there. And then over the time, what is really actually coming up to our body, what is bioavailable. And astonishingly enough, you can apparently hire these important ingredients by this technology. So 99% of the flavonols are inactivated by the acid in the GI tract. So the reason, what they do now is they encapsule the working agents. They do micelles to actually prevent the degradation in the stomach and to increase the absorption in the enteropathic way. So this micelle is formed out of epicatechins enveloped by a membrane of astaxanthin and phospholipids. They tested this technology to dark chocolate alone, dark chocolate with astaxanthins, and against their technology. So these crystals, these micelles, are visible here. So this micelle, and Ernest, you will be the far better person to explain, contains the epicatechins with a coating of astaxanthin and the phospholipids to, again, protect these working agents, these crystals, from digestion in the GI tract, or in the certainly in the first pass in the stomach. This is regular chocolate in different concentrations, and this is Esthechoc in different concentrations. First message is you can't really detect the epicatechins in a regular chocolate apparently, but I'm not the expert there. Ask the company, please. And as higher the concentration of chocolate is, this is the 70, which is actually the Esthechoc, as darker these little micelles are, and as better, as more concentrated apparently as well. So another strategy on how to get a short-time absorption and a long-term one, because I learned that astaxanthin, for example, you have to eat that every day in order to have a relevant bioavailable level in your body and blood. If you would digest this chocolate immediately, the effect would be over. So there is the mode of action is that we have a hydrophilic substance as well as a lipophilic in these micelles. So once and this is what I learned today from you as well, is that these micelles break up as soon as they are in the duodenum, and then they are absorbed time-wise differently. So immediately the rapid absorption for the hydrophilic substance as well as the lipophilic substance on the long term. This is a measurement in week time, whereas this is an hour resorption. So, and then they again measured against dark chocolate with the capsules of astaxanthin, and saw that the concentration was far less, whereas the bioavailability with the Esthechoc was far higher. Okay, we can skip that. So they did a clinical study on that in Cambridge, a double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled trial with some patients took just the capsules with the astaxanthin. Others, by the way, you apparently can't buy with the pharmacist epicatechin capsules, because you could say, okay, I will buy this and this, epicatechins, astaxanthin, and a dark chocolate. The epicatechins you couldn't buy. So again, patients with astaxanthin only, patients with dark chocolate only, patients with dark chocolate and astaxanthin, and patients with Esthechoc. So they looked at the bioavailability of all these different ingredients, and for sure, as I said with cocoa as well, you can measure the bioavailable agents or the biologically relevant agents in the blood after consumption, and this is again how the absorption is influenced, certainly by the composition of the meal, what you're eating. And I understood that they put some cocoa fat into the capsule or into the product as well to increase the absorption, and all the other parameters here. Basically, they did now they did measure the concentration of the epicatechins to prove the bioavailability of the product, and saw that, and this is the red curve, epicatechin ingestion concentration after eating Esthechoc was far higher. Secondly, they measured the concentration of epicatechins after eating the regular chocolate and the modified chocolate, Esthechoc, and saw that the concentration was higher with Esthechoc. And then they measure, and then again, they this is the graph to show the different absorption rate. Esthechoc had 112% bioavailability with these epicatechins and astaxanthin. Tissue oxygenation, another chart to show that the plasma oxygenation was increased with the Esthechoc compared to the others. And the oxidative stress reduction, this is measured by by malone D-aldehyde, a biomarker for oxidative stress, again a reduction on 70% compared to the controls. So in conclusion, we know that cocoa is an important source of phytochemicals, phytocompounds, of anti-oxidative, anti-inflammatory, and photoprotective action for the skin. It has an overall health improvement impact, and this is all about cocoa. And we need certainly more clinical studies, more evidence, more data, further studies to continue this path of proving that cocoa is beneficial, but the data we have so far shows that. And looking at the Esthechoc now, it's a new category. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there is no comparable product in functional foods. So the idea here is, and the proven fact is, that the bioavailability of the working agents is there, does work, and it has been proven in terms of improvement of tissue oxygenation, the reduction of the stress level, and for all the reasons these ingredients are healthy. It has a photoprotective effect, and at the end of the day, it's easy and convenient and pleasant to take. I would love to have your ideas and what you think about that, and if that was helpful to understand this technology. When I met Arthur first for this project, I said, "Oh, come on, Arthur, I buy Valhona, this is so good." And then I looked at the whole science behind, and I think that's really persuading, because the alternative, looking at the bioavailability, would be to take really 100 grams per day plus a salmon.